Hey everyone, one of the questions that I get a lot deals with the different forms of custody of a child. And I think that it's one of the more commonly misunderstood things about going through a divorce with children, or what are the different forms of custody and what do they mean. So wanted to address those a little bit today. In general, there's three different forms of custody, those being sole custody, joint custody, and divided custody. And I'll try to discuss each one in turn. Sole custody is the preferred form in South Carolina. This means that whenever a contested case goes in front of a judge, the preferred form of custody that they're looking to award is going to be sole custody to either parent. And what that means is that the parent that's awarded sole custody will be in charge of making the decisions for that child. Decisions regarding health care, extracurriculars, religious upbringing, those sorts of things. And the other parent will be awarded visitation time with the child, but that parent with the sole custody is going to have the ability and the authority to make decisions regarding that child's upbringing. Joint custody is where both parties have to consult with each other regarding those issues, just like they would if they were still in a relationship with one another. This is not a preferred form because by definition, almost, by going through a contested divorce or custody case, the parents are not agreeing with each other well enough for them to be able to make appropriate decisions together about what's in the best interest of that child. Divided custody is a very unfavored form of custody in South Carolina, but it does exist. And what it means is that one parent has custody of one child and another parent has custody of one or more of those parties' children. So this requires splitting up siblings. Which almost by definition in South Carolina is going to be considered detrimental to the child's best interest. And remember, the only concern that the judges and the courts have in determining custody and visitation and issues regarding children is what is in the best interest of this child or these children. And so splitting up siblings is going to be a large hurdle to overcome, and convincing the court that it's in the best interest of this child or these children to split them up and let them live with parents separate from one another. Now, in order for the courts to award joint custody or divided custody, there has to be a finding of exceptional circumstances made on the record so that the court can justify not going with the preferred sole custody. One of the exceptional circumstances can be the agreement of the parties. So the court's going to defer to the parents a lot on this issue if there's an agreement. That means that if the parties can agree to joint custody, then the court's likely going to approve that agreement. Similarly, if the parties can agree to divided custody, the court's likely to go with that. Just understand that that's a much more exceptional circumstance than normal to divide up these siblings. So just wanted to touch base on that and explain to you kind of the differences between the different forms of custody: sole custody, joint custody, and divided custody. If you have any questions about any of those, feel free to give me a call at the office, shoot me an email. I'm happy to talk to you about your particular situation and see what we can do to help. Have a great day. Thanks.